listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott. I'm excited you guys are all here with me today. Today, I'm going to be giving out so much value that you guys definitely want. If you're driving right now, feel free to soak this up, but 100% you're definitely going to want to double back and get ready to actually take notes on this stuff, because it's something that is going to save you a ridiculous amount of money, and it's something that you can do for yourself, for your friends, for your family every 6 months to be able to get an additional 6 figures in funding. You can get several 6 figures in funding. You know, at the end of the day, you can get 10, 20, 30 credit cards by doing this application sequence and get a 90% success rate of approval. So this stuff, long story short, there's people out there that you can pay to be able to get, pay $4,000 or $5,000 to be able to have somebody do it for you. Or there's another platform out there that people will charge upon approval rate, upon, success. They will charge anywhere from 10 to 20 something % of whatever they get you. And a lot of people like those methods because it is more guarantee. However, this is something that once you're educated on and understand how to do this, and this is what I'm passionate about. I literally started Credit Counsel Elite for the simple fact that I don't want you to not know how to fish, right? Like, I want to teach you how to fish so that you're saving more money, and you can do this for yourself, for your circle of influence every 6 months, and to be able to build up several 6 figures in funding, even 7 figures in funding within a year's time frame. So if you think and believe that you can actually utilize an additional 6 figures in funding, or even up to 7 figures in funding at 0% interest, or learn how to move it around and get all the bonuses for sign-up bonuses and so forth, and you believe that's valuable, then make sure you hit that subscribe button for Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. And after listening to this episode, I know you're going to get so much value. Do me a favor and leave a review. It just helps the algorithms with iTunes to be able to promote it out there, and appreciate the love tremendously. This is something that honestly I only have in my platinum package for Credit Counsel Elite as well as Elite, and it's very, very valuable. It truly is. So you guys are getting a huge treat today. And not enough. The reason I'm giving it out is because it was a last second type of thing, and I actually had a couple of clients that are struggling with this. So I'm hoping to just pour in extra value for them. And then, truth be told, not enough people out there are actually taking action. That's just what it is. So I could tell you exactly step by step what to do, how to do it, and so forth till I'm blue in the face, and not enough people out there will take action. I pray that this hits you differently and you do take action, you reap the rewards and benefits from it, and you make that impact, that shift within your family. Not, it starts with yourself, but then your family and the income and the product of you pouring into your knowledge right now and spending the time here with me. It will really rock your world and change it, because I know it's done it for myself, for my family, for my friends, and for all my students that are taking action on this stuff. It can definitely be life-changing. And if you haven't actually taken advantage of getting action driven, that has been able to shift so many people's lives. So you can find action driven on, let me see, boom, right in there. You can find action driven on Amazon. Definitely want to take get a copy of that. Otherwise, if you subscribe to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, as well as leave a review, I will just send me a screenshot of that, and that you're sharing it out and spreading the love. And I will send you a book absolutely free for Action Driven, okay? So with that being said, let's dive into it. This is what it's going to be about. It's how to get several 6 figures in funding and get a 90% approval rate for your application sequence. I know that's long. I know that's might be confusing if this is the first time hearing it, but what it is just applying for 10, 20, 30 credit cards all at once and getting and knowing like damn well certain that you're going to get a huge majority of these, 90% actually approved. And if you're doing it the right way, you can get just huge credit lines as well. So this will help you in many ways because, as you might know, more credit lines, you can put it to work. It also helps out with your overall utilization. If you have, let's say, 4 million in credit limits, and you're actually actively using 1 million, that's only 25% of your utilization. That will help you drastically, right? Your credit score will stay up high. Also, the older that your credit cards become over time, they become more valuable, and you can actually lease them out as authorized users and sell those positions. Most cards get anywhere from 5 to 10 positions, and you can make money from those. So it can be extremely valuable. Long story short, you want to do this, okay? Like, you want to do this. Anybody out there that says and gets all scared, like, oh my God, you're applying for, 10, 15, 20 credit cards at once, you're crazy. No. I'm going to show you the step-by-step, and you can remove all the hard inquiries afterwards, like it never even existed. It's not going to affect your credit to a certain degree. It will hurt your age. It will lower that. But as long as you don't have any big finances coming up as far as like a mortgage, really just a mortgage, then everything else should be fine and dandy for that 6-month period. So let's just dive into it. So step number 1, and this is a 10-step process. So if you're taking notes, like I highly encourage, then make sure to write this down. There's 10 steps, and there are a lot of like sub categories, steps in between. So this first one, step 1, there's 5 different little sub parts. Okay, so just bear with me on that and make sure that you're taking notes properly instead of getting confused with this stuff. But overall, you want to evaluate your credit score. There's 6 factors that make up your overall FICO score, and the lenders judge you on all 6. So you have to be educated and truly understand and know like what the creditors are looking at and how your credit score is being made up at the end of the day. So you want to evaluate your credit report and look at all 6 main factors. So, I guess A would be your overall credit score, just to know exactly where you're at. What you can do is you can go to annualcreditreport.com and get a free report. You can literally reach out to the 3 credit bureaus and ask them for a free report. You can do that weekly, because since COVID, they announced that they'll just give out a free weekly report. You can also utilize, I wouldn't recommend Credit Karma because people get confused with that. It's a Vantage score, not a FICO. It can be 150 points off, either up or down. So that's not going to be your actual credit score. However, a lot of the 6 boxes, there's good education on there for you to make a better understanding of what that looks like. Also, if you want a deeper dive into the 6 boxes and how to purchase properties with credit cards and so forth, then a good starting package that they should have been teaching you in school would be our gold package for Credit Counsel Elite. You can check that out at creditcounselelite.com, and the gold package, it's discounted right now. I believe it's at $800 in comparison to $1,200. So that can be something very valuable for yourself to actually get a deeper dive education on the 6 boxes. But and also utilizing My Score IQ is something that can really help out tremendously by getting your most accurate FICO. So once you actually see your score, you want to take a look at the utilization. Long story short, the utilization is very, very crucial, and there's different categories to it. 9% or below, you'll be in the best category. However, you really want to be at 1 to 3% utilization. the top 1%ers out there have that, and you can just slide in and mix in with them. It's going to be very good for you. And if you can hold that for about a couple months, 2, 3, 4 months, then prior to actually doing your application sequence, it's going to be extremely beneficial because they're going to constantly see that. Now, that doesn't mean don't utilize your credit. That means utilize the heck out of your credit, get very big limits, but pay it off before the statement closing date. Now, that's the most crucial part that many people just don't understand and aren't aware of. The statement closing date is the date that you want to really be mindful of and pay off before then, so that the balance is little to none, and then it reports out to the 3 bureaus with that low utilization. So keep that in mind. The next is going to be looking at any derogatory remarks, any negative remarks. So there's 2, realistically there's 3, but 2 is going to be payment history, as well as any collections. Collections can be like derogatory remarks. It can be actual collections, charge-offs. It can be bankruptcies, foreclosures, repossessions, liens, like court-ordered, child support, etc. So long story short, you don't want any of that stuff. Now, the longer that it's been on there, over time, it will make less of an impact, but it's still not good to look at, okay? If the banks can see it, it's still not a good sign for you. So you do want to remove those. You want to do credit repair. We have techniques in Credit Counsel Elite that you can actually remove this within anywhere from 24 hours to 10 days. So if that's value to you and you need help with that, then you can always reach out. We have a do it for you service as well, for creditrepairmobile.com. And we've been able to remove bankruptcies in 1 month's time. That was our best, but we've had other ones take over a year. So credit repair can be one of those things that a lot of it is out of our control, but we're very good at what we do. And we pride ourselves at getting some really amazing results for our clients. So if you're interested in learning more about that, then you can check out creditrepairmobile.com or just reach out to us on Instagram. It's Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, Facebook.com/Brandon Elliott Investor, and somebody will respond back through the DMs to you. But any derogatory remarks or late payments, how it looks is the first year or less, it's going to be the worst impact for you, hurt you drastically. Once it gets over a year and it's less than 2 years, then it hurts you still drastically, but a heck of a lot less. It's still very bad for you though, just so you know. And then once it is over that, then it doubles. Anything, it makes a lot less of an impact, but basically within 4 years and less, it is judging you. Once it's over 4 years old, and that's collections, derogatory remarks in general, or late payments, then yes, it is still, it's on there, but it's not hurting your FICO score anymore. Okay, if that makes sense. Like your score isn't necessarily getting affected after it's 4 years old, but you want it removed. If you have a bunch of those, it's not helping, just so you know. Okay, so reach out to us or learn how to do this stuff yourself, and or apply for a Credit Counsel Elite to be able to get educated and learn this stuff, because it's very, very crucial. So the next one is going to be your average age of credit. So if you have your average age of credit, that's one of the 6 boxes. It makes up 15% of your FICO. It's something, basically they add up all of your overall credit cards or accounts in general. It could be mortgages, personal loans, student loans, auto loans, retail credit cards, or regular credit cards. There's 6 factors that make up your accounts. So any of those can be added together, all the age behind each individual one. And then once that's totaled together, then they divide it by that many accounts they just added together. You get your average. Okay. Now, with your average age, anything a year or under, it's going to hurt you drastically. Truthfully, you really don't want to do a mass apply until you're over 5 years average credit age. But if you want to get into the best of the best category, you got to be over, the first one to put you in green is going to be 7 years plus. Ideally, the best of the best category is 9 years plus. Okay, so just keep that as your main goal. to put that category that makes up 15% of your FICO. It's not huge, but it's still something significant, right? You want to get to 9 years plus average credit age. Now, you might ask yourself, okay, well, how the heck am I supposed to get older credit cards? Like, how can I move back in time to be able to do this? Well, you can utilize and either purchase or utilize people within your circle of friends and family to be able to be added as an authorized user onto their accounts. Now, make sure that with the authorized user, it's a good open active account, nothing derogatory, no late payments, nothing bad on this account itself. Make sure that the balance is very low, if any, and that it is old as heck, okay? The older, the better. If you can get a 20, 30, 40-year-old credit card from grandma or your parents, then it can help out drastically because they're going to add that age into it, divide it by an additional account, and it will slowly increase your overall credit score, boosting up your score, as well as just putting you in that best category. So if you need more information on that, you can reach out to us. We deep dive into other episodes on authorized users. We have a business for that as well. If you need help, we can either educate you on how to get it for free, or even if you have ones that you want to sell, we can show you how to make money from it as well. And we have discounted ones in comparison to finding them online if you can't find friends and family. The next box is going to be the fifth one here is, and not box, but like categories, I guess, the subcategories, right? Is going to be inquiries. So inquiries only make up 10% of your FICO. However, banks judge you in a couple of different ways. If you have too many inquiries, then it's going to look like you're desperate. It's going to look like you're searching around for too much credit too soon. And they don't like that. Okay. So you want to remove all of those hard inquiries if you can. And we have techniques to be able to guarantee it and remove it within 24 hours. There's other techniques that take a little bit longer, but it's important. Like if it's not attached, or even if it is, in some cases, they might close the account, and we can show you how to get it reopened and not affect, and then still taking a chance that they might actually not re-add that hard inquiry back on there. So there's a lot of savvy stuff you can do with it, but the lower the better for your inquiries. If you have 1 to 2, that's okay. If you're at like 5 to 6, it starts getting like really dangerous for you. You could easily get an automatic denial. And then if you have 9 plus, you can almost forget about it. Certain banks like American Express, they don't care about hard inquiries, so you'll be fine. But just understand that there are 3 bureaus: TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, and they are all going to have, a different score, different hard inquiries from wherever that bank or lender pulled from. So you want to be able to, if you got any hard inquiries, you want to remove them quick, ASAP, so that before the 30 days or whenever that new account does pop up, it's not on there and affecting you for the next 2 years. Okay, so after you look at your whole 6 boxes and you address that, you fix that, you're good to go, then we're going to move on to the second part, which is step 2, is freeze the third-party agencies. There's hundreds of third-party agencies. I'm only asking you to freeze 4 of them. And it's not mandatory, but if you have anything that it like actually needs fixing, I highly recommend freezing these 4 third-party agencies. They're data collecting companies at the end of the day, and they collect this data, and they're very good at it, and they sell it to the lenders, the banks, and even the credit bureaus sometimes for a heck of a lot less than what the credit bureaus would sell it to the banks for. So that's why a lot of these different lenders or even bureaus themselves actually will verify information through these third-party agencies, right? So LexisNexis, SageStream, Innovis, and ARS are 4 ones, third-party agencies that you definitely want to address and freeze them if you have any type of credit repair that's needed to remove those hard inquiries and so forth. Okay, because if it can't be verified because these third-party agencies are frozen, then you can get it deleted off your main credit bureau, and that can help you out. Caution here, before you actually do your mass apply, I do recommend, however, to unfreeze those third-party agencies so you can just get the automatic approval and it doesn't take longer to get their decision, okay? You can get automatic denials if those are frozen, depends on which bank you go with, but they can give you some automatic denials for the simple fact that they tried pulling through a third-party agency instead of the actual credit bureaus, and they couldn't because it was frozen, okay? So just be mindful of that. It's not the end of the world. If you didn't get a hard inquiry, it's not a waste. You just got to unfreeze it and then reapply. Okay, the step 3 is basically generating a list. So you want to get a huge list together, the best credit cards of the best that you want to apply for. Now, when I say get this list together of the best credit cards, what you want to do is go to uscreditcardguide.com. And you can also just simply Google credit cards. There's thousands of credit cards out there worldwide, and there's a ton that are just junk that give you 1%, if any. Some don't give you any percent back, no rewards, no benefits, just a credit card with low limits. Like, you don't want those. I would stay away from most retail credit cards. Ladies, I'm definitely talking to you because I know that's notorious to stack up on some retail credit cards. Don't do that. Don't go after all those amazing offers. If you shop at one location a ton, then maybe go after one, but don't do it after that. Just, keep it as that. But you should be building up this list to about 60 to 70 roughly of all the credit cards. And how these credit cards work is understand that there's certain categories of building out the credit card list. There's insurance credit cards that are going to give you protection when traveling, or car insurance, or cell phone insurance, so all those things are crucial. I definitely recommend at least one of those. I recommend a traveling credit card. I recommend several cashback credit cards. All of these are, and then there's 0% interest credit cards. So, all of these need to be considered when you're actually building out your list. You don't want to go with just all regular credit cards or just 0% interest credit cards. You want to kind of mix all these in. There's business credit cards as well. I want you to put into this list, whether you have a business or not. Be mindful of this. You can easily get, if your score is right and you're at the 800 range, you want to be at 780 to 800 FICO score before doing this mass apply application sequence to be able to get the best of the best results and to get that 90% success rate. Okay. So doing so, it's going to put you in the best category. You can get business credit cards, PGing it, that's personally guaranteeing it, and remove the hard inquiry afterwards. It won't even show up on your actual personal credit report, and you have a bunch of credit cards that you can utilize and maximize to the next level, to the full potential, just like the banks do. That's the biggest thing of doing credit hacking here, is simply understanding how the banks and lenders are judging you and how to be able to play the game and be do exactly what they're doing to us. We give them our money. They give us nothing in return, basically, 0.001%, something crazy. And then they flip it and sell it back to us with mortgages, with personal loans, business loans, auto loans, and make 35x on it. Okay, so we are taking the credit that they're giving us and we are putting it to work as well. And we've purchased properties with credit cards. We've completed all of our remodels with credit cards, which is like insurance because contractors don't screw us over nearly as much. If you're smart with it and paying with credit cards, you'll never get screwed over, doing that. And then we've done hard money lending with credit cards, and we've started several other businesses with credit cards. So you can do the exact same thing and be able to put it to work just like banks do. But utilize uscreditcardguide.com. It's going to help you out tremendously. And then the next step 4, is going to be categorizing the credit cards that you just got in its order, like which bank it goes with. If you have several that are all mixed up for Bank of America, US Bank, Chase, small credit unions, put them in their certain category that they go to, because it's important to understand. One of these next steps coming up is actually narrowing it down and understanding, the rules that each of these banks have, because it's very, very crucial. And I'll dive deeper into that in just a moment. So the next step is going to be step 5. So this is basically narrowing down the credit card list down to about 20, running it through credit boards. So write that down, credit boards. That's going to help you guys out understanding basically somebody else that has applied, and they're going to give the data points of their personal FICO, what they said during the application, and overall where the lender pulled from, and what they got actually applied for, or what they got approved for or denied, and so forth, so that you can know more of the data points and actually be able to get the similar results by saying similar things. Okay, so be mindful that certain areas nationwide are going to be different, and it's crucial to know that. So doing the research on data points will help you out drastically, and basically eliminating any of the credit cards that just don't fit that criteria. And basically, like, a pro tip here is, before applying for any credit card, it is very important to go to credit boards and just search for the credit cards that you want to see if you will even qualify for that credit card. On credit boards, it will give you data pools, which means that you will see the actual data and the criteria needed to be approved. There are certain, I don't want to jump the gun. There's certain rules. Okay, this is step 8. I'll dive into that in a second, but there's certain rules of thumb that each bank has. Like, you guys might have heard the 5 and 24 rule, and that's with Chase. They also have a 1 and 30 day rule, 1 and 30 rule. That means you can only get one credit card from Chase within 30 days. And the 5 and 24 rule means if you've been approved for more than 5 credit cards in the last 24 months, that's 2 years, then they will automatically deny you, even if you have an 850 perfect FICO score. Okay. So just be mindful of that. There's a lot of rules, and it's important that all banks have their own certain types of rules, and you need to know all those so that you can help put your application sequence, your actual sequence, like the credit cards, in the right order and not mess up any of those rules. So the next step is step 6, and that's identifying the credit bureau pools for each card. This is something you can get this information on Credit Card Guide, or you can simply Google it. I know that sounds crazy, but just Google, hey, where does Chase, which credit bureau does Chase pull from? Which credit bureau does this bank pull from? It's not that hard. You're going to get some quick answers right there. You can call up to the bank. You can ask them. I don't necessarily recommend that, because 9 times out of 10, man, they are, even managers I speak to, just retarded, and they don't know. It's the ignorance behind it. They're just clueless. They've told me, so I can't even, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, because it's very frustrating of managers in positions that have been there 10, 15 years, misguiding the client, me, because I'm more educated and I'm asking the right questions, and they are just guiding myself or other people for disaster, because they're uneducated. So, and it's not their fault. They're just, nobody's teaching them, and they're not doing their own research, and it's just not a priority. So it's like the blind leading the blind in the banks, which is very sad. It's not all banks, but I've seen it a lot of times. So just be mindful of that. I would just do your own research online, uscreditcardguide.com, creditboards.com, just Googling it, okay? The next step is step 7, and what that is basically add the bank policies right next to each credit card. So the policies that each bank has can range from all different things. Some banks, what I mean by policies is like some banks won't give you a credit card if they don't have a relationship with you, meaning you have to open up a bank account with them. And that's something that I recommend for all banks, not just the ones you like that don't need it. There's some that are mandatory that need it, and there's others that they could care less if you have a relationship or not. But I would still recommend having checking and savings account, at least on the personal side with them, just because it increases your odds so much more as they look at the relationship that they have with you. Okay. So they're judging you off your credit report, but then they're also looking at the relationship they have with you. How many products and services are you taking advantage of from them? And how long have you been with them? Is it just a savings account, or is it a personal checkings and savings? Is it business checking and savings? Do you have several businesses with them? Are you taking out a personal loan, a business loan? Is it a mortgage, auto? Like how many different products and services, a CD? How much are you taking advantage of, and how long have you been with them? And then thirdly, on top of that bank relationship is how much money is actually in the accounts with them. They have certain rankings, and I probably have it somewhere in my notes right here, but I know to be able to get into a decently good ranking is going to be putting $10,000 or more in your bank account. And you should do this for roughly bare minimum 1 full month, like a statement closing date, but ideally 3 to 6 months, having money going in and out. And if you want to get to the best category, then it's going to be over $100,000 placed in those bank accounts. And like I said, the longer, the better. 3 to 6 months will put you in a great stance, and taking advantage of several products and services from them, having multiple accounts, it's going to put you in a very good position. So just keep that in mind. But all banks have their own policies. You can simply Google that bank and look at the fine print at the bottom of, or simply just Google that bank and their policies. With those, sometimes you can call up to the bank and they will know more often because they see it during the applications of like, oh, you don't have a bank account with us. Sorry, like you're not going to be able to get approved with this account or this credit card or this HELOC for a mortgage because, you don't actually have a relationship with us. You don't have a bank account. So some of them will know that more often than any of the other rules of thumb. And then the next one is going to be step 8, and that's eliminate any credit cards in your list that do not comply with the bank policies, as well as start to highlight the best credit cards that you want to apply on your list. But just understand that like this does like the credit card rules is what I'm about to dive into. It's very, very crucial that you start understanding the rules for each bank. So basically just ask yourself, does the bank rule let you apply for more than one credit card at a time? If the rule says 2 in 30 days, and there are 2 credit cards which you want to apply for from the bank, then you can obviously, but if it says 1 in 30 days and then you're trying to get more than that, what I recommend to do around those is instead of applying online, I would recommend going in person and building a relationship with a manager. And sometimes they can overturn some of the rules that they have, some of like the policies that they have, like Chase, the 5 in 24 rule. I was able to break that and get 6 in 24. We've had several students be able to break it and get 7 in 24 by simply having a relationship with a bank manager and doing it in person. So when it automatically gets denied for that, they can overturn it and get it approved. So little things like that can be super crucial. let me just go down the list really quick of some examples of figuring out the rules for each bank. And what I recommend is simply Googling this. Like you can start off by, simply Google 5 and 24 bank rule of thumb and all the other banks or something, and it's going to pop up the full list. Trust me, you'll be able to find it. But so Barclay, for example, they have one every 8 days. Citi, they have a 5 and 64 rule. US Bank, they have one every 30 days. Capital one every six months. Chase, we already said 5 and 24 rule, and 2 and 30. Wells Fargo, 1 and 30. Bank of America, they have a 2, 3, and 4 rule. American Express, you can get 2 non-charge charge cards every day, but they have a 90-day rule as well that you can get no more than 2 cards, like actual credit cards with them, within 90 days. So if you get more than that, you'll automatically get denied no matter what your situation or credit or money in the bank and all this other stuff. So just be mindful of that you can have up to 4 cards with them now. You can get Chase cards every day, the charge cards every day, but with American Express, but for their regular credit cards that aren't charge cards, it's going to be 2 every 90 days. Navy Federal, they got 2 every 30 days. Discover one a year. So all these things are very crucial. You want to make sure that your list is on point and that you're not shooting yourself in the foot. And just be mindful of that. Like for Discover, for example, I would go after the business credit card of Discover because the first year they give you 3% cash back. And then after that, it's 1.5% cash back for each and every month moving forward. Now, the personal side of Discover, you can get the Discover It card. It's an easy card to get approved for. However, it's 1% cash back on everything, and then they have categories of 5% cash back at certain locations every quarter. But the max is $1,500, so the max you can get at 5% is $75 bonus. Which is cool, but you can get a heck of a lot more on business at 1.5% on everything. And like I said, the first year, 3% cash back on everything, it definitely helps out a ton. So the step 9 is basically just rearranging all of these credit cards by how they view the inquiries. Looking up, you should basically make a spreadsheet of this or put it on paper, and you should have all the policies, the bank rule of thumb, where they pull from, and how they care about inquiries or not. And then you'll start being able to put the credit cards in certain order, and just place them from the top where banks care the most about inquiries, put those at the top of the list, like Chase, for example. And then towards the bottom, you can put the credit cards that like Amex, that they just don't care about the hard inquiries, right? So just be mindful of that, and that will help you out tremendously. A good little rule of thumb here that I recommend is actually doing 2 cards. And this is a rule of thumb. It's not the holy, it's not the way to do it. It's just typically a good set of instructions to go by, is apply for 2 credit cards from each bank. And you can do business or personal, a mixture of both, or however you want to do it. But most will somewhat allow you to do that. Like I said, that doesn't fit with all banks. Like I already read, Capital One is 1 every 6 months, and so forth. Discover, that's 1 a year. So that's not going to work with all banks. But don't just look at the big, huge banks, the big names that you hear all the time. There are hundreds upon hundreds of small local banks in your backyard that you pass on a regular day that you don't even notice or look at because they don't do enough marketing, and it's just a small local bank, random name behind it. Okay. So you can look up on the SBA, the actual lenders that are giving the most type of lending that did the most funding in, by year, and that should help you out within your own backyard. Or just simply look up Google banks in your local area, and you'll see dozens pop up. And then you can actually start, calling them, building the relationships and so forth, opening up bank accounts. But yeah, if you actually like go for 2 credit cards, rough rule for each from each bank, and understand like where they pull from, then it's going to set you up for success. What I recommend is figure out, this is what I would do, and this is what I've done with a lot of different students. I recommend to freeze TransUnion and Equifax prior. It's very quick and easy. You can Google freeze TransUnion phone number, and within 3 minutes of a couple prompts for TransUnion and Equifax, you can type in your information, freeze those 2 accounts, and you can unfreeze it the same way. But doing so, then it's going to force and push some of these banks that would normally pull from TransUnion and Experian to just, ideally, the whole goal here is to pull just from Experian. The reason I recommend that is because if you can get them to pull over there, then we can show you how to remove those hard inquiries very quickly within a couple hours. No stress, guaranteed. We can do it for you, or we can teach you how to do it. And it's going to save you so much time, and it's not going to look like it's on there at all. It's not going to hurt your score, and that's going to be amazing for you. So the worst case scenario is that if you apply and it gets denied because basically it says, hey, we tried pulling your credit report, it was frozen, then it's no sweat. You just unfreeze it and then you apply the next day. It's not hurting you whatsoever. It's just took up a little bit of time, and it's something very simple to be able to overcome. Another thing that you can do is apply. If you're going to apply from your computer, then you can either go incognito mode or underneath your personal and pull up 2 different tabs. I don't recommend more than 2 because it's not going to work. Bottom line, like people used to do this back in the day. It doesn't work like it used to. Pull up 2 tabs, and you can fill out the application completely before hitting submit. Do it to the other one, and then you can hit submit basically at the same time, going from one tab to the other. And the whole goal is, if you do it within about 3 seconds, then ideally they would pull the same credit report from that bureau, and it would only be 1 hard inquiry on your account, which can help you out, less hard inquiries on there. And if you can't remove them for any which reason, then it's not going to be a huge impact on your credit profile. Another bonus that I want to give to you guys is, so after you do the, so I would also recommend going for business credit cards first, like I said, and after you get approved with them, just personally guaranteeing it, you remove the hard inquiry, and then you do the application sequence on the personal side. This will allow you to get 20, 30, 40 credit cards very quick and easily, honestly. We just had a student apply for 18 credit cards, and he got 16 approved just on the business side. And now he's about to do the personal side. So I know it works. I've done it myself. I do it every 6 months myself, unless I have a mortgage or something going on. That's the only time I recommend not actually wait until you're done with your mortgages, and afterwards you can apply right away and keep it moving. And afterwards, remove the hard inquiries as soon as they come in. You got a couple days before. There's certain accounts, credit cards, after it's approved, then it will take about 30 days to pop on your account, and then it's linked from hard inquiries to account section. It's linked. If there's some credit cards, though, that are starting to become a heck of a lot faster within about a week or so. So I do recommend to remove those hard inquiries as soon as possible before that new account actually pop up underneath your account section. Remember, only personal is going to show up on there. Most 99% of business credit cards are going to be underneath the business, not underneath your personal. You'll just get the hard inquiry, easy to remove afterwards. If you get denied, you can remove the hard inquiry whenever at your convenience. No stress. There's only a small, very few business credit cards that will pop up underneath the personal, with personal guaranteeing it, like Discover and Capital One business credit cards. So just keep those in mind. Let me see. And then, the last step basically at step 10 is just apply for the credit cards. Don't overthink this. There is a certain way that you want to, they're always going to ask you the same questions. What's your job occupation? How long have you been doing it? What's your annual income? Do you rent or own? And what is that payment per month? They might ask you how much you are requesting in a credit line. Okay, so understand on these things, they're all very crucial. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and say the wrong thing, or else you could easily get denied, or just get the lowest limits. If you're used to seeing very small limits on your credit cards, understand that it's this last process of what you're saying in your application, either over the phone or on the computer, that's messing you up. And understand that it's stated income, it's stated everything. If they put you underneath a financial review, then you'll have to turn in actual documents, and then they will give you whatever you actually qualify for. But it's not the end of the world. Don't shoot yourself in the foot by stating if you make under 100K, don't put that on your application. You will get a very low limit. Also, they're going off of statistics. If you say you're a teacher, because you are a teacher, you better be a PhD, college professor, because it's not going to help you out whatsoever, because they go off of statistics. And if you've been in business for yourself for a year or two, I wouldn't say that either, because statistics show that businesses fail within the first 2 years, and until it's 5 years plus, it's not stable. So, 5 to 7 plus years is what I would recommend. A lot of different moving pieces that add up to the big piece of the pie here. And it can be overwhelming doing it your first time. I do highly recommend spend time and education on all these different moving pieces, these 10 steps, and all the other little subcategories below it, to really be able to make sure that you do prepare yourself and set yourself up for success before actually doing the application. But understand that don't overcomplicate this. The worst thing that can happen is that you either get denied and you remove the hard inquiries later, or you learn from it, and that in 6 months you can redo this again, and you can try it out on friends, family as well, and if they're cool with it. So and then the last final thing that I'll leave you guys with is, if you do get denied for any reason, I want you to stop there. If you have a 10, 15 credit card application sequence and you get denied on the third one, that's a red flag. I might give you permission to do like one more credit card, but if you get denied for that again, I would highly recommend stop. Okay, stop. And you got to figure out what the reason is for these getting denied, and then hit the reconsideration line. Okay. But if you're getting denied very soon in the beginning, you should get denied towards the end. And if you get denied towards the end, that's okay. Just hit the reconsideration line afterwards. And you should be able to overturn a lot of the reconsideration line and get them approved, or just understand that, hey, I hit my limit at this point. I got to move on to the next phase of this. And once you get all these credit cards, then, actually start utilizing them, make sense of them, build up the relationship, take advantage of bonuses, sign up bonuses, season the cards and treat them well, pay them off before the statement closing date, put them in rotation, have your spreadsheet so that you can stay organized, and capitalize on each and every one of the cards, so that you can just switch the hands of what the banks have been doing to us for the longest time and start implementing it and doing it for yourself to really capitalize on this stuff. So that's what I got for you guys today. And I hope you guys really took notes on this. I hope that it was extremely valuable. It's changed my life in so many different ways. And I know it has for many of my other clients as well. And I know it can be for you if you take action on this stuff. So as always, hit that subscribe button for Ready, Set, Go. Real Estate Investing Podcast is my passion. It's everything that that it's all geared towards educating, motivating, and preparing you to take action. So I hope that's what we accomplish here today. I know that we have. And after you leave a review, make sure, vice versa, after you subscribe, make sure that you leave a review. And after you do so, share it out to somebody, and then reach out to us on Instagram. It's Brandon Elliott Investments, and just DM me. Send me a screenshot of you subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing it out. And I will send you my book, Action Driven, absolutely free. And or you can reach out to me on facebook.com/Brandon Elliott Investor. If you need any credit repair done for you services, what you can do is check out creditrepairmobile.com. If you're looking to actually get educated, like deep dive into the education of how the banks and lenders are judging you, how to be able to play the game on a whole different level behind this and fix your credit very quickly, or other clients of yours, and then being able to build up credit. I'm talking several six figures on a regular basis, even up to 7 figures in funding, and more, much more, getting your FICO score up to 800s within 30 days or less. And then lastly, once you have all that credit, putting it to work, starting Walmart automation stores, buying businesses, doing hard money lending with it, jumping into real estate, purchasing properties with it, making the credit work hard for you by leveraging it and travel hacking and manufacturer spending, you name it. And if you're interested in that, then what you want to do is check out creditcounselelite.com, and you can apply on there to see if it's a good fit. It's not for everybody, but if it is a good fit, then we'd love to have you. What we have is a private Facebook group. There's 60 plus people in there currently, and small accountability groups. You get one-on-one access to me. There's an online on-demand course with ridiculous amount of hours. If anybody's ever asked me, 2 different people asked me the same question at different times, I've always made a video on it so that we can really over deliver with as much value as possible on there. And then lastly, every 2 weeks on a Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we jump on a group Zoom call to go over deep dive into education, as well as roses and thorns, wins of the week, and anything you guys are struggling with. Plus, we dive into Q&A for hours for people to network, and also just to make sense and do business together and answer any questions that you might have. So I know it's been extremely valuable for me, for so many other people in the group. And if it's a good fit for you, then what you want to do is just apply to see if it's a good fit on creditcounselelite.com. With that being said, guys, I appreciate so much spending the time with me. I love you guys all so much. Make sure you share this out, comment, leave a review, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. God bless.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.